So, people ask me a lot of times, like, what happened first, and it was the symptoms, and that's what we're gonna pay attention to. And it's interesting how that the deeper I went, the more it now makes sense looking back. But while I was in it, it was just like being in a washing machine and trying to understand and navigate. And so basically, when I was 20 years old, had a bad fall. I was studying abroad and hit my head, traumatic brain injury, fell 2 stories after the World Cup in Germany one night. And, that basically, it's interesting. Someone who has trauma, early developmental trauma, there's so many different types of stuff is huge. And so if we have a lot of unprocessed stress that's in our system, you've heard maybe the book, The Body Keeps the Score. Well, a big accident like a fall and hitting your head, the person whose nervous system is overloaded is going to respond a lot different than the one who's not, who's got a healthy nervous system. And what that looks like is, one person who's healthy, who has solid, good enough is what we call it, parenting. They will be in a car accident and they'll walk away, with some bumps and some bruises. Maybe there's a rehabilitation process, but eventually they're okay. The person who has a lot of trauma, a lot of this is unconscious. It's away from our awareness. It's kind of like the iceberg under the water. And when we have a shock trauma, which is what is falling out of a window is, that basically reveals all the dysregulation that we've been suppressing our whole life very intelligently. But the system, it's kind of like a full bucket of water. It can't hold it anymore. So my system went into chaos. And I can now trace that back. So I'm going to kind of take you through it, and then I'm going to take you back to where I'm at now and how I can see that and understand that more now. But basically, traumatic brain injury, falling out of a second-story window, immune disease within like the next 6 months, started having panic attacks, chronic anxiety, insomnia, did not know what the hell was going on. Went to the doctor, and I remember him writing down, "You have anxiety." And I go, like, what is that? Never even heard that word. And to kind of tell you how my childhood was, or just, it's just not something that was in my awareness. So they give me medication, they send me on my way. Nobody offers any kind of real help at the time. It was just pharmaceutical intervention. And at the time, I was happy. I was thankful for that as well. But the story goes, moved into a house that had black mold and developed Lyme disease, which is a tick-borne illness. And when I went to the doctor, thank God, I went to a functional medicine doctor. I had heavy metals. I was borderline diabetic. I had tons of inflammation. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. And so I started working through that. I fell in love with health and wellness. I reversed basically metabolic issues, diabetes. I reversed the Lyme disease. I moved out of the house and detoxed the mold. I lost 50, 60 pounds. And man, I was evangelical for, things like the keto diet and fasting, and got really into the biohacking scene, which is basically like these little hacks to kind of fix. It's all the sexy stuff now that we call healing. I call that Amazon Prime healing because it's this overnight quick fix and it doesn't end well.